We have a lot of questions that people have asked. If I just quickly look, if I've missed your name out, please forgive me. People are Hasnain, Sadia, there's a few others, I think, Shamrez. A lot of people have asked questions. If you feel something has been unanswered, you can raise your hand now to ask that question. Or what I'll do is I'll summarize, and I would like the panelists who are here, including Dr. Lubna, who is representing Professor Zakir, to really, in this last sort of 5 minutes, using questions that I'll kind of collate, put together. If you as a panel could address them, it would be wonderful, just to conclude our discussion today. And the first question centers around, and Dr. Wazin is central to this discussion. A lot of people have asked the question in terms of, okay, we want this change to occur. We are all on board. There are no, dissension against empowering women or providing with education. How do we then go about making the changes in terms of curriculum, in terms of educational policy, and what Professor Harrison has been speaking about in terms of that leadership status or position? How do we then enable people to make decisions, but then they are thwarted or prevented because of national policy or law, etc.? So it's a question open to the panel. It's a discussion open to the panel. Dr. Wazin, obviously, if you could, it's a question that was directed directly at yourself, but I think the others will have great contributions. Dr. Wazin, how do we then make this change? How do we actually influence?
Thank you. Thank you very much for all the respected honorable panelists, Dr. Harris and Dr. Zakir and Dr. Nahid and Dr. Ishaq and everyone. I actually understood a lot from them. Thank you very much for all of them. Actually, this is, we are talking about the leadership, about the strategy and policy. In the Afghanistan context, which I'm speaking about the context of Afghanistan, I think our problem is currently a problem, the leadership problem. And we have in Afghanistan a leadership problem, which is instead making a strategy for the nation and the policy for the education, which allow the women to learn and to be educated and then to be empowered, because the empowerment of women is impossible, or the leadership of women is impossible without education, without knowledge. Okay. So unfortunately, now we are facing a leadership which are their strategy, they are leading the people towards the ignorance, towards the darkness, of the population. Again, I'm with Mr. Harrison that this is the leadership problem, actually, which was he addressed nicely. So, and also there is the mentality of leadership is not changed. There is no strategy for the women education, and there is no policies. So first, we have in Afghanistan the changes coming from the reforms. It is well known that the Afghan nation wants their women to be educated. Of course, this is the demand of the people. This demand should be textualized in a constitution which is acceptable to the Afghan nation. We should have in Afghanistan, we should have a constitution. We had before a education law. Now in Afghanistan, all the laws, including the constitution, they are not working. Okay, there is no they are ended. We are a lawless country now. So the change is coming from the to have a constitution. The constitution define the nation, the strategies of the country, the visions. After that, we have to we have education law, as we had before. Where should the education law, according to the education, we have an education policy in Afghanistan. Which the basic thing is this policy is that the access to the education should be provided for every man and woman, and this is the when this is enforced automatically, the girls they have access to the education. For example, before in 2018, according to the official data, We had in Afghanistan 3.5 million girls were had registered in the schools, in the universities. 3.5 billion in 2018. Now there is zero. Of course, except the elementary schools, of course, which is that after the elementary school, there is no women doesn't have regards access to the education. So the change is coming from the political change, political reform in Afghanistan. This is the way. Otherwise, admonishing, giving lessons of ethics, begging Taliban leadership, it doesn't work. So there was the beginning. The starting point is the 0 point is that to have the reforms, political reforms based on constitution, and after that, the constitution will guarantee these rights, and the change is coming. After that, we talk about the. Of course, when we're talking about the context of Pakistan, Azad Kashmir, other countries, they have lost there is no ban on education, girls for education. They have the right, but our case in Afghanistan is totally different. We are struggling for the girls should be allowed to go to school. In Azad Kashmir, there is no this problem. In Pakistan, there is no this problem. In Bangladesh, Afghanistan, unfortunately, the only country in the world that, which is shameful to say. Now I'm ashamed in this forum that to speak about this. In 21st century, being a Muslim, which is the first word of the Quran is starting with Iqra, read. And there is, you have Surah Al-Qalam, Noon wal-Qalami wa ma yasturun. Read and write is that. So that shameful. I'm an Afghan citizen, Afghan national, as well as a Muslim being, and as human being, I'm ashamed to talk about this. It's unbelievable to talk in 21st century about to struggle that the girls should be allowed to go to schools and universities. So we have to change. For me, is coming from the political reforms, going to the constitution. Based on the constitution, we have the access to education for all Afghan national, and this is. After that, we talk about the curriculum and the policies and the other things.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Dr. Lahar. Thank you, Dr. Azim. Very well addressed. Can I bring Professor Christian Harrison in to answer the question, how do you then tackle difficult leadership situations whereby, in this case, clearly the government, with all its power and trappings, legitimately, is in effect the sole decision maker. So in that sort of environment, it's a very difficult question. I mean, everybody in the world is, from history, has been trying to answer this. But just for us and what Dr. Vazeen just said, what are the first steps we should start to take now to have this impact?
Thank you, Dr. Iman. Of course, thanks, Professor Wazim as well. I think most of the time I always tell people followership is important in the sense that, because at the end, it is the role of the followers to hold their leaders accountable. And so that's why it's important that followers speak out. Because if you don't speak out, the norm will still remain. So it's always difficult. And of course, when we talk and we try to, the leaders don't want to change. But the only thing that is left is for us to continue to speak. So I always tell people, when they have difficult leaders, or when they have leaders that are not there to serve them, but to serve themselves, the only thing they can do is to speak and continue to speak. So don't be afraid to speak, because that is why you're there. You should be able to tell them, okay, yeah, this is what we want. This is this is how things are going to change. This is the kind of support that we need. Women should go to school. Those things, every platform to emphasize those things are very important. That's the only way you can do it. But of course, as followers, you also need to be smart enough to know how to negotiate as well. So negotiation is key. So sometimes it's not always about a battle. Sometimes it's not about shouting and shouting. You have to ask yourself, what can we really do? Who are those key players that would help us change and when you try to change policy, many times it's not just going to talk about it. There's some people that you need to talk to. So what we need to find out, and especially, and this is general, for those difficult leaders, are there people that, you know, when you talk to them, they listen, and you might want to approach those people to talk to them. And when they have something to gain or something to lose from those people, then it's easier. So there are two ways you do it. Of course, you're not afraid to speak out. But while doing that, you also need to work smart by trying to see who are those people that you know that when they reach out to them and negotiate with them, policies can change. So those are the key ways that we should do. But please never be afraid to speak out and tell people and call it out. That is why you're there. Leaders are there to serve you. They're not there to serve themselves. And it's the job of the followers to ensure that you leave them or make them accountable for their actions.
And I think the establishment of a platform such as this, the network of high caliber individuals that we have here, I think this is one of the ways to start now really promoting that narrative. Although I know Dr. Wazin has said that it must come from internal, the change must happen internally. So in some way we must start to motivate the Afghan population, show them that we on the outside are in support of them, their case is not forgotten. And so I think these initiatives can only grow and increase. And especially in those neighboring countries, this is why I brought Pakistan Kashmir in, because we are very similar, in fact, same people, tradition, culture. And so maybe over time we can start to have that influence within that nation. That's a idealistic thinking. I may be completely wrong, but this is inshallah the initiative. Just if anybody wants to add something, please do. Otherwise, I'll just ask Muhammad Isaac quickly to summarize with his final points before I ask Said as well, just quickly to summarize guys' points. And then if I ask our two distinguished ladies, Dr. Lubna and of course Professor Naeed, to give us concluding statements before we close our session today. Please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Imran. I think after Dr. Harrison and Dr. Wazin, there's nothing left. Thank you so much again. We have seen in Azad Kashmir, because the issue is when we talk about the women and their education and their participation, of course, it is considered as a threat to the, of course, culture, religion, Islam. But the case from Azad Kashmir was presented and of course is, of course, most peaceful state we have, of course, apart from the cross-border bombing and firing. Otherwise, very peaceful state. And of course, the women, their participation, and of course, the family structure we have seen is, of course, in ideal situation. During my PhD research, which was about the Islamic movements and their participation in the society and their educational networks, and of course, female education and was there at the top of the agenda. I interviewed very senior, of course, policymakers of those movements, and now they are working with the national curriculum, one curriculum, of course, the government's policy making, educational policy making, of course, think tank. Of course, we saw and observed there, it was on the top of that. And we have seen, of course, women and female and girls' participation in the society. As we discussed, of course, they are performing really well. If we need quality education, and of course, we shouldn't hinder that, it shouldn't come from the girls, right? And it is coming from the girls. The most position holders, takers in education, in universities and colleges, they are the girls. And of course, there are issues, challenges, and due to those certain reasons, of course, as Dr. Lubna is there, and they have found an avenue to facilitate the women. Of course, they have the due responsibilities, more than that even. So we have seen this in Azad Kashmir. It's very successful. There's no feminism, which of course is something scary for the Islam and Islamic movements, and we shouldn't consider that. Otherwise, of course, we should take them on leadership role. We should give them, and of course, they are doing perfectly nice and successfully. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Isaac. Said, as you know, is currently in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. There he is. He's joined us. I just had the message that his electricity had gone out.
But no. No, I'm there.
Can you conclude, say, just a 2-minute conclusion of your thing in response to Dr. Wazin, Professor Harrison, and now Dr. Isaac?
Yeah. So sorry, in the car. Actually, I have another appointment with Professor, actually, so I need to go and sit with him. That's why I left. Thank you. It's a privilege actually listening to you and learning an amazing thought actually, and learning from Professor Harrison as always. So I think this is the beauty of academia and scholarship, that we always have argument and we learn from these arguments, and you don't have to accept something and you don't have to reject something. And of course, we learn from each other, and nothing to contradict, but this is differences of variation. It's not differences of contradiction. We all come to the same point of empowering people. I love the point Dr. Harrison made, that the best leader is the one who empowers the followers. And if that vision is with every leader, I think the world will be clean of all these corruption and war and all these conflicts. I think to come to the same context to summarize it, first of all, as I said, the only way out is left negotiation, because we can't go to another war. We have to say to the warlords and all those who are full of corruption in any context that, sorry, we can't go to another war. Afghans cannot go to another war. And an old woman who has 2 children, and they were robbed for the mobile phone, and they were killed and robbed. I'm sorry, we can't go for that again. And the Afghans should be empowered to make their decision. Of course, there is the way for negotiation, but we have to find a way for that negotiation. As Professor Harrison said, we need to find people to whom they listen, the leaders listen. That's why actually these initiatives of forming Jirgas, speaking to their own language, is one of the initiatives we are taking actually up to go to them and to speak to them, to convince them. I know that there are personalities. Sometimes leaders think that they are the best and the others don't know. Despite 98% of the authorities, or let's say the followers, they say no, but he says yes. But this one, this gathering, this movement or initiative will be bigger and bigger. This is the plan actually, that this negotiation and this, I can't call it an army, but this population can be bigger and bigger. Our voice will be louder and louder. And the good thing actually, we have a lot of their army behind us. They are in agreement with us, because finally, as I said, we can see the light. We can definitely see the light. It's not me. It's not only some people from outside. There are people actually inside Afghanistan. I think we have to articulate, if I'm right, articulate a language that, and also take a position to convince them, to at least to speak to them, to listen to them. For us, this was an achievement. Of course, I appreciate different arguments, different narratives, but for us, it was a good achievement that they welcomed, they listened, they noted, and they promised to take it further, and they promised to give us an answer, a positive answer, hopefully in the future, the next coming and next coming. We consider it as a worship. We are not tired of it. We struggle for it, and we consider it not only a research, it's a struggle for, let's say, success, a struggle for humanity, for salvation, we can say. So yes, that's something we are committed to. And again, I stress that negotiation is the only way. And we have now found the language now to work for. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, brilliant. It's almost like, yeah, this goes above and beyond our own sense of duty. So yeah, this is something that is bigger than ourselves. Subhanallah. Excellent, excellent message. Last but never least, of course, our 2 most of important guests. Dr. Lubna, if you could conclude with a few words. I know you left a few comments and questions. with regards to leadership, your own position, your experience. Just quickly, if you could share with us those few points before we conclude with Professor Naid, inshallah.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm representing the University of Poonch, and it's really an honor for me. And Professor Harrison said, "Do not afraid to speak." And I just love this sentence. Overall, the discussion and the panelists are extraordinary. I love this discussion, and I just want to say, please continue these sessions and involve University of Poonch. University of Poonch will love to go with you, and I need more sessions for my students. And I invited all of you to visit Azad Kashmir and see our problems. Panelists discussed the problems of Afghanistan, and you highlighted the Afghanistan and Kashmir issues are more likely similar. I'm sitting here, but sir, we are facing so many problems here. Even when you visited here, I'll tell you that how girls are educated there. Dr. Isaac said that there is no feminism here, but in reality, I think so. There is something as so to say, caste is very, very difficult here. I am a Southern, but despite of that, please don't mind if I am saying anything for the Southerns. But despite of that, really we are facing such things being a female. Male society didn't accept this. This discussion is overall very, very good, but reality is something different. And we want to show this reality. Please visit us, University of Poonch, visit the Kashmir, and you can see the problems. Overall, I love this panel. I love the discussion. And actually, I don't know how to conclude this, but overall, the discussion is very, very good. And in future, I wish I join you people again. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Lubna. That's wonderful, wonderful message.
Dr. Lubna and Dr. Imran, I know your region. You're Afghans, basically, sir. You should have some problem.
This is what I'm trying to explain to Dr. Vazeen, that actually we're Afghans anyway.
Actually, the jirga, actually, somebody in the panelist, I think so, they said the jirga culture. But here in Kashmir, we have a very, very strong culture, sir. And we are facing that, and we are still here.
We have
brotherism.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lubna. Inshallah, one of our seminars, and I've spoken to Professor Christian Harrison about this as well, that one of our dreams and sign of success for us will be the day where we hold a live lecture in Afghanistan, Kabul, and Kashmir, Azad Kashmir. Inshallah, that's, for us, that will be a great achievement. And
thank you so much, sir. I invited all of you, and especially to Professor Harrison. Please visit us. And now I love this. Do not afraid to talk. I'm not afraid to talk, but now I will remember this.
No problem. We will plan to do that. I will talk to Dr. Imran, and definitely that will be something that we'll try to do.
Sure, sir. Most welcome. Thank you.
Professor Naid, last but not least, in fact, foremost for us, she has been a wonderful, should we say, companion, compatriot, friend of ours for a long time. I've been involved with a lot of their work at their center. It's a wonderful center at University of Punjab. They do a lot of work, far more work than I can describe. It's something actually inspiring to with our center. So, Professor Naid, just concluding statement from you at the end. And
thank you very much, Dr. Imran. Thank you for a successful webinar, I must say. So I will conclude while answering few questions. So this is the answer and conclusion, because somebody has asked about the how curriculum can bring change for in terms of women empowerment. So I would say that when you talk about challenging the stereotypes or structural or socio-cultural norms and barriers in the society, it's definitely not going to be an easy task. because it is gender related, many gender sensitivity issues are involved. So I, as an academician, I would say that critical thinking can always make a change. Because when we talk about the education that it has the power to transmute the societies. So women empowerment, but through education policy and practice. But here, I guess, in terms of the countries, third world countries, and particularly coming from the country, Pakistan, I would say that there is a gap between the educational policies and educational teaching practices. So teachers, they need to be on board when it is about the policy making. So this is, I think, this lacks too much, because in policy making, no academia is involved. And when we talk about gender equality, one must not forget gender equity, because of course gender equity is it talks about different needs of the people in different circumstances. So we should keep in mind that unless we have gender equity, we cannot go to the gender equality. So this is my point of view, and also again I will focus and stress on the point that the country like Pakistan, where you have so much potential when it comes to the women empowerment, I would say, but the only thing is that we need to have institutional structure, and until and unless we have the accountability system, until then no policy can be successful. It can never be executed, because there are too many laws. Right from the beginning, constitution guarantees the right for the women, so we need to implement it, and that for that we need accountability in the society. So this is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Naizak Had. Thank you to all the panelists today, the distinguished speakers that we've had on board. I want to thank them personally because they have they have attended at our personal invitations. They're extremely busy people. Dr. Wazin is joining us from Ankara, Turkey. So you can imagine his time zone, his commitments are completely different. He's taken time out of not only his day and his schedule, but he came on board at a very late stage. So I can't, I don't have the words to thank you enough, Dr. Wazin. You are an absolute role model. If you know his history and the struggles he's gone through, he epitomizes the work that we are doing, this notion of leadership and empowerment. He himself has gone through that process and that journey. So if you ever get the chance, please do look up Dr. Wazin's biography. Please do try and establish contact with him because not only has he a great deal of experience with Afghanistan, that region, but generally in the area of, if we talk about Islamic studies, law, history, culture, tradition, he is an authority. And he's someone we need to learn from, because oftentimes the religion that is espoused to us, the traditions that are enforced upon us, actually have very little to do with Islam, or very little informed by Islam. And so we need scholars of this quality to, especially our youngsters, us young students, to engage with people like this so that they are more informed in terms of the work they go on. So thank you very much, Dr. Wazin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Thank you for joining us. Professor Christian Harrison, I'm just going off the list I'm seeing now. Thank you very much again. He is not only a professor of leadership and I say empowerment, but it's also enterprise as well. He runs the center at University of Manchester. He's a fantastically inspirational individual. He has not only guided myself and my students and people in sort of my circle in that area, but he has acted, again, above and beyond himself, beyond his department, for other colleagues across the board, not only our university, but universities across the UK as well. We have a number of wonderful collaborations with several universities for a conference at the end of this year. Hopefully, Professor Harrison will address that himself in our future meetings. Hopefully, we will invite everyone here to that conference as well. And again, he is talking about leadership, but he's also acting within that capacity and forms a great role model. And I want to thank him publicly for the work that he's doing and has done, and for supporting our initiative here. So thank you very much, Professor Christian Harrison. Dr. Isaac, of course, he's a colleague of mine. We've studied together, we've worked together. And I just, again, it's a public thank you for the sort of work that he's putting together. He's also part of the Forum for Educational Policy and Research, and has done a lot of the dog work behind the scenes to help us get this seminar up and running. So Dr. Isaac, thank you very much. And I'll also promise you that you have a lot more work coming your way. So it won't be easy. Professor Dr. Lubna, she's here. She covered for Professor Zakaria, who's not able to join us due to the situation I told you. Dr. Lubna, again, the work that you are doing, I'm fully aware. The center that you're now running for the women, I think this is, again, something which becomes a case study for not only Rawalakot, but around that region and possibly internationally as well. Something we can share with our colleagues, especially in Afghanistan. Our plan is to eventually have a conference with Salam University, and this is something we would love to discuss with them. So thank you, Dr. Lubna, and of course, we wish you the
So one thing, please invite us in that conference.
Of course, we will. It will be an honor. Last but not least, Professor Naid, she is here. Again, director for the Center of Studies in Punjab University, a highly experienced, highly credible, a highly verifiable individual who has not only, somebody who we've not only worked with just now, but have worked with in the recent past and for a while. And we know the quality she brings, the depth of analysis she has, often covers those areas that we miss. And that's only because she's an intrepid researcher. Her comparison with Sweden, etc., today you saw in the presentation, is really all about bringing best practice from across the world. So she adds real value and quality to our work, because oftentimes we miss or we are not aware of these things. And she really has that in-depth desire to bring that research forward. So thank you very much for the work that you're doing, Professor Naid, and the quality of your students clearly shows the level of scholarship in your department. So thank you very much. And last but not least, my own student, my colleague, my friend, Said Hamid. He is working on his doctorate project. He's almost concluded. He's in Afghanistan, or has been, and he's really pushed himself above and beyond, literally working tirelessly for the last 3-4 months to bring this seminar up to speed, to get guests invited, etc. So thank you, Said, for the effort that you've made and the contributions you are doing, and we wish you the best of luck in your studies, and hopefully the work that you're doing will have impact in the future, no doubt. Other than that, I want to thank all my students, academics, guests who have attended today to listen to what we've had to present to you. I hope you found it informative, engaging. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may God bless you all, and
thank you very much.
a wonderful time.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
you.
Doctor. Once again,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Amin.
Oh,
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.